Hello everybody and welcome to Stealwing 33 Plays Dark Souls 2. I'm Stealwing 33 and hello everybody, how's it going? So I'm finally here, I'm playing Dark Souls 2 and I'm very excited to actually get to play it for you guys on the channel here. This is going to be a pretty good walkthrough of the Dark Souls series.
Yes,
I'll keep talking after this cutscene.
It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, saint of the deep, Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
Alright, so there you go. Welcome to Dark Souls 3. So this is a series that I've been looking forward to for a long time, actually. Very excited to get to play Dark Souls. I figured out what we're going to be doing. So, on this playthrough, we're going to be playing as the Mercenary, because the Mercenary starts out with the twin sellswords. You can kind of see like both of them on his belt there. And this playthrough is going to be, I'm only going to use dual-wielding weapons, okay? So what that means is that I'm going to be entirely... Like, basically, I'm never going to use a shield. I'm not going to use, I'm not going to use anything that could possibly, like, defend me. I'm going to be dual-wielding the entire game. I'm only going to be using weapons that have the word paired attached to them. And, we'll see how this goes. I'm kind of nervous. There's a couple bosses in the game that I know are going to be kind of a nightmare. In particular, like, the Pontiff... and the twin princes is going to be pretty rough. Not that you can block those guys anyway, but it's still going to be harder. When you can't block, it's still harder. I don't know if I'm going to be summoning help. I might allow myself to do NPC help, like the people that you actually have to like earn in order to get to summon people. But who knows? Maybe we might allow myself to summon some people. I'm pretty good at Dark Souls. I'm not that great at Dark Souls. I'm not like one of those people that plays at like a ridiculous level. I'm not bad by any means, but I'm definitely not like god tier Dark Souls player playing the game with a goddamn Guitar Hero controller. But I do have a lot of practice in Dark Souls 2. I've been playing a lot of Dark Souls 2 since it came out. I've already beaten the game twice. Once as my default, the way that I normally play the game, which is a cleric build. I like faith builds. I've been using them since Demon Souls. And they're sort of just the way that I play the game, honestly. And then I beat the game again using the Demon Fist boss item, which is a paired fist weapon that lights your hands on fire. It's pretty good, actually. I allowed myself to use a shield when I did that, so I didn't run around only using like paired weaponry during that playthrough, which is actually what spawned my desire to do this kind of playthrough, because there's a couple weapons that I'm interested in. In particular, there's the Dancer's Blades that I'm interested in. They're a pair of twin swords that you get about halfway through the game. Well, like 2/3 through the game, I guess. That are really, really good, or so I've heard. One's dark, one's fire. They're pretty dope. And I'm interested. I want to use them, so that's sort of. I want to get used to doing the paired weaponry stuff in order to like get into that. There's also some other ones. There's the Nodachi and there's like a pair of twin katanas that you can get. There's a pair of twin spears, a pair of twin hammers. There's a bunch of twin paired weaponry in the game. And I am very excited to try to get a chance to use some stuff that I don't normally use. It's also going to be a high dexterity build, because a lot of the paired weaponry have high dexterity requirements. And so I am very excited to get to do that, you know? It's nice to get to do stuff that I'm not used to. In particular, in a game series that I do genuinely love. I love Dark Souls a lot. It's one of my favorites. I've gotten very, very good at three specifically. I've gotten very good at. I think I said I had a lot of practice in 2 earlier, which is not true, actually. 2 is the one I played the least, actually. I meant 3 when I was talking about this earlier. But you can kind of see that, like, where the nice part about this weapon is. So, the paired daggers, their moveset is, my R1 is a sweep with one sword. My R2 is a dual sweep with both swords, like that. And then my L1 is that like sliding, like that double sword, like spinning attack thing that you saw me doing. This one right here. That's probably the best move to use using this with this particular one. The strong attack and the light attack on the twin cell swords is not super great. The light attack, you only use one sword, which sort of defeats the purpose of using a paired weapon. And the strong attack is sort of slow for, you know, a weapon that's normally pretty quick. We're gonna wait for him to come out of there, actually, because I don't want to have to fight him on top of a small pedestal. I need room to work around with, actually. So, ow. I didn't know he was going to do that attack. That's my bad. Should have rolled. That's not a big deal. We got plenty of Estus left. Still doing plenty of damage, actually. Crystal Dog Lizard Dragon Man is pretty rough. He's you're not really supposed to kill him this early in the game, at least in my submission of what, you know, you're supposed to do in Dark Souls. The Knight class, the Pyromancer, and the Warrior all have a pretty easy time. The Warrior's weapon just does like ridiculous damage. Pyromancer's crazy, and the Knight is just probably the easiest starting class in the game. I wouldn't recommend trying to fight that guy as like the Herald, the Thief, the Assassin. You could do it as Deprived if you're like really good. If you're playing as Deprived, you're probably really good. So it's probably one of those things that you can get away with if you are real clever, real clever. I'm a little nervous about Gundex Indir or whatever that guy's name is. I can't actually pronounce the dude's name. He's a little rough. He should be pretty easy because we're pretty lightweight, all things considered. I'll probably actually just take off the shield. I kind of like that it's like covering my back like that. The pattern on it's pretty dope. But we'll probably take it off to lighten ourselves up a little bit here. Yeah, it's not that much, but you know, every little bit counts, so to speak. I guess not with like weight limit. with weight limit, you really, like, it only matters if you're above or below 60%. And then at that point, it's above or below 30% after that. I am not using my sword. I did not have them two-handed because I had my shield equipped. Which actually got me hurt a little bit there. So we'll probably go back and rest at the bonfire. I want to walk into the Gundex fight with enough Estus to heal myself in the event that I end up getting my shit kicked in a little bit here. Not that I think it's going to be a problem, but I do, worry. It's the kind of boss fight that, if you're not careful, it can really sneak up on you a little bit. The armor we're wearing is kind of inconsequential. As far as I know, I think this is like the sellsword set, which isn't too great. Yeah, it's not bad. It's the chest piece is a little weighty for the physical armor it gives you. The shield we started out with is terrible, by the way. It's like, I think it might be the worst starting shield, because at least the other... So, like, the cleric shield's pretty bad, but the other two classes that start out with non-100% blocking shields at least start out with shields that can parry. And then the warrior's shield is bad, but it's like, I think it's like 80% blocking instead of like 70%. This one, I think the one we start at, the wooden shield, I think it's like 60. So it's like barely blocking any of the damage. You might as well not block it at that point. Like, instead of blocking it, you should have rolled. That's sort of what that means for that shield. If it doesn't block 100%, it's pretty much worthless as far as shields are concerned, because at that point, if it's not blocking 100%, just dodge roll. At least a dodge roll has a chance to not let you take damage. But, you know, that's just me. I don't know if it's correct. I just know that that's the way that I view it. I didn't need to drink that, now that I'm really thinking about it, but, you know, better safe than sorry. Let's go grab, there's a Titanite shard up here. So I have it set, you guys probably saw that I had to continue. I had to do a little bit of controlling stuff. So I have it set to old Dark Souls 1, where mashing the sprint button is how you jump. I just got used to it playing Dark Souls 1, and it's something I never really stopped to try to get used to the new way of doing it, which is like click the left stick or some shit. My problem with it is that I feel like it throws off my jump. Like, having the button to move and be the button to jump on my same finger, like the button that I'm angling myself with and the button to jump on my same finger, just feels like a bad idea. Having it on the B button, at least, like, it keeps it independent from my movement, so I'm always staying on target. This is the Gundex. He's kind of a dick, but hopefully we kill him pretty easy. You can get a lot of good licks in before the boss fight starts if you're willing to risk having a little bit of extra damage done to you, because if you don't have the stamina once the boss fight actually starts, it's really easy to get, like, kind of destroyed really early. But, you know, this boss fight's not hard. It's sort of a nice early game challenge, you know? It's the kind of thing that, like, you gotta, if you're really careful about how you do stuff, you can really get through this whole thing without too much trouble, actually, which is nice. The rat part's actually easier than the spear part, in my opinion, because if you just stick near the rat, like at his body, like if you just hug him, which is a thing with big bosses in Dark Souls. If you just hug their bodies, they have a tendency to be pretty easy. They have pretty recognizable patterns, and you just have to learn to, like, back up at the right time and just do stuff, you know, do your thing that you need to do to not get hit by his attacks. A lot of it comes down to, like, dodge rolling at the right time, avoiding stuff like his, like when he like lifts himself into the air like that, you just back up. Ow. I got in a little too close. Which is my bad. Don't die on Gundex. Eudex Gundir, or whatever the hell this guy's name is. That boss was not hard. The beginning of the game's not too bad. If you're having trouble with Gundex, my recommendation is to stick close to him, and always roll to the right. So you guys kind of saw how I was doing it. His spear attacks, if you roll to the left, they have a wider arc on that side of his body, and you're more likely to get hit by them if you're not careful. Rolling towards his hand, not his spear, you know? The attacks will have a tendency to go, you'll like whiz right over them, or they'll just miss you completely. And that's morally in your favor. Just stay locked on, you know, stay locked on, stay calm. And when you get hurt, wait for him to do an attack before trying to heal. Because if you try to heal, like, standing next to him, you're really likely to just sort of get killed. Like, really, really likely to get killed. If you're having a lot of trouble, play as the knight. The knight starts out with a shield that blocks 100% physical damage, and you start with the longsword. Longsword's probably the best starting weapon in the game. Next to the battle axe, I actually think the battle axe might be a good candidate for best starting weapon. Battle axe just does so much damage. That boss fight's a triviality with that one. I know this because when I started my my run with the Kestis, which is the fist weapon, not the demon fist, but you have to start out with, if you're going to do like a fist weapon run, the first fist weapon in the game is called the Kestis. It's like a leather gauntlet that you put on your hand and you punch people with it. It's pretty terrible, to be honest. Not bad once you like get it leveled up. If you put fire on it, it does like pretty decent damage. But truth be told, it is not a good weapon. Once you get the demon fist, the thing really starts coming together, because the demon fist and the Kestis have the same moveset, so by that point you're used to it, which is nice. We're gonna fight Uchikatana Man over here. We're gonna give it like 2 or 3 shots, and if we don't manage to kill Uchikatana Man in 2 or 3 times, we'll probably just come back to him later. So this guy, he is the Sword Master. Killing him lets you summon him for the first boss in the game, Vort of the Boreal Valley. He's a pretty decent guy, like for having to have during the boss fight, because Vort's not a pushover. He can really fuck you up if you're not aware of how his patterns work. Vort can really mess you up. Vort's also pretty easy to dodge. He's not like Gundex, where there's like a very easy, reasonable way to do dodge against him, and you just sort of have to be aware of that. Right now I'm sort of abusing the fact that my swords are faster than his, so like if I hit him, if he hits me, he can stun lock me into oblivion. If I hit him, I can hit him like 2 or 3 times before getting my ass kicked a little bit. I'm a little nervous because I do want to kill him really bad, but I don't want to die. So we're gonna just do some cheesy strats, and it's gonna take a while, but we're gonna abuse some stuff here. So you can kind of see. So he won't come down the stairs. He'll like goat for it at sometimes, but he won't really come down the stairs. So what you can do is you can sort of bait him into the staircase and then just like mess him up real bad. I died. Uchikatana Man, not the easiest guy in the universe to fight. You know what? Since we died, we'll probably just come back to Uchikatana Man later, get our vengeance. Probably before we fight Vort. No, we'll do it. We'll give it another go. I don't see any reason not to do that. Yes, I can go into Firelink Shrine to bonfire there, so that the run back to Uchikatana Man isn't that far. But I also need to practice with the twin swords, so it's kind of nice to be able to like fight a couple enemies with these things. To like, I need to learn their ranges. I need to learn, like, you know, how the moveset feels in comparison to like some stuff. There are attacks that like I just don't know how to like do, basically. My R1's not bad. It's pretty quick, so you can get a lot of good hits in with it if you're pretty steady. The name of the game is always to just stay calm. Like, I'm playing without a shield, but if you're playing with a shield, a lot of people, when you hit your shield, they'll bounce right off. And you got to learn to just capitalize. Dark Souls is a game about patience, and it's a game about capitalizing on the weaknesses of your enemy. You always need to remember that the bad guys in this game are dumb, and they're dumber than you by a lot. And it's very easy to abuse certain things about them. We're dead again. That's kind of the problem with Uchikatana Man, is that he can parry you. That's one of the nice things about the Uchikatana itself. Why am I even doing this? I'm going to be using nothing but paired weaponry. Yeah, we'll come back and get vengeance on him later. I just don't feel any reason to like really try to pursue killing him. We're not going to use the Uchikatana, and I guess he's worth like 2,000 souls or something like that, but whatever, we'll just come back. I'm not super worried about it, and frankly, I don't want to waste a whole bunch of time trying to kill Uchikatana Man when we could be starting up on the wall and really making some progress here, which would be really nice, actually. So we'll just go get our souls, and then we'll come back and go into Firelink Shrine and press onward with the game here. There's going to be a lot of dialogue in the game that I'm going to skip. If you're interested in the dialogue, I would suggest getting the game. And any cutscenes, I promise I won't skip any cutscenes, and any, like, anything that I think is, like, interesting or important dialogue I probably won't skip, but there are people like the Crestfallen Knight who are just like, oh, well, we suck because we're the Fallen and blah, blah, blah. If this was a blind playthrough, I'd sit through all of it, but it's not. I've listened to all this stuff pretty much, like this guy. So he's like, he's just sort of a dick. Like, I don't know how else to put it other than that.
Can't even die right.
See?
Gives me conniptions, and it have us seek the lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. But we're talking true legends, with the metal to link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots.
You think so, buddy? Do you really think so, man?
Don't you think?
The nice part's that we do get the collapse emote, which is a funny emote, I guess. It basically just makes you like fall to your knees and like go. Ah! It's pretty funny. This lady over here, she lets you level up. Leveling up costs souls, which you can see down in the bottom right corner of my screen down there. Right now we have 7,832, and as the sellsword, we can level up 8 times with that much. The sellsword starts out at a pretty low level, level 8. And when I play, I like to pump vigor. It's the thing that I do. And then we need a little bit of endurance in order to make use of the twin swords. So I think we'll probably stick to something like that. We'll probably pump endurance later. So vigor increases our health. Having lots of HP means that you can take more hits, which I don't have to tell you that in video game land, taking more hits means you die less. And in Dark Souls, that's really important. This lady sells items. She's a shop. She sells some interesting items. If you don't like your starting weapon, like if you're playing as a cleric and you don't like the way the mace feels, she does sell the 3 basic types of swords. Dagger, fast, nimble, lots of slashing, doesn't take a lot of stamina to do. Short sword, pretty good. It's got a nice sweepy set. It's also got a stab. Scimitar, very similar to the paired sellsword blades that we're using right now. Not bad. Causes bleed, I think. No, it doesn't cause bleed in this game. Halberd, it takes a little bit of doing, but it's good. Sorcerer's Staff lets you cast. Talisman lets you do miracles. This lets you, it's a torch. This is a shield. All of these shields are terrible, and you should never waste money on them, for the record. The chainmail set's alright. If your starting set kind of sucks, like if you don't like it, chainmail set can be a good replacement. Andre here, he lets us reinforce our weapons, which is really good for a lot of reasons. Paramount of which is that so leveling up in Dark Souls is less important than trying to do literally anything else. So fixing up your weapons and making them better makes you better. Like, that's sort of just the way that is. I'm trying to see if we can get enough money to infuse our swords. Now we need a lot more. I'll have to come back. We need 600 more souls in order to make our twin sellswords here fire sellswords, which is why we took the fire gem. There were a lot of choices at the beginning of the game, and I know I didn't go over them, which I am sorry about. But basically, all the other choices are fine, but they have a lot of problems. The life ring, which is part of the early game set, increases your life by like 30, but 30 HP isn't going to make or break you at any point in the game. 100 HP would, even 50 HP would, but 30 is just, it's not enough. There's the Sovereignless Souls. Don't take those. It's just money. You pop it, and it gives you some souls. It seems enticing, but the problem is that their souls are sort of cheap. There's something that, like, if you really needed souls, you could go kill, like, 6 or 7 things and end up with enough souls to really, you know, do whatever it is that you're trying to do. Like, even now, like, I need 600 souls. I'm going to kill maybe 5 things in here and have 600 souls. Over here is shortcut land. So down there is a shortcut to a later area in the in this area, a later section in this area. There's a couple douchebaggy enemies. The dogs are kind of annoying. They're really hard to deal with without a shield, actually, because I'll show you. So the dogs are fast. You'll see. So they run really fast, and they do a lot of like lunging type attacks. But the problem is that when you have a shield, you can block them, right? And the dog bounces off, and then you just destroy them because they got stunned, right? With the sellsword, so, like without a shield, you're sort of left waiting for them to do something. Then you roll out of the way, and you have to kind of hope that you're like close enough to them to hit them at that point. Twin Sail Sword's much better than the Demon Fist. The Demon Fist's the biggest drawback with that weapon is that you can't. It has like terrible reach, so it doesn't go very far. So it's very easy to miss people with them, which is stupid because they're your primary weapon. And if you're missing people, you're dying. That's pretty much the way that works in this game. We are going to kill these guys, and there's an item up there you can kind of see on the other rampart from us that I want, and I want to go get it. So we're going to go get it. Luckily, if we die here, we're really close to the bonfire, so it's not that big of a deal here. Ow. Well, I died. I killed that guy, but it doesn't matter. In Dark Souls, all the enemies respawn when you rest at the bonfire. You probably caught on to that after I died a couple times. It's not just when you die, though. It's when you rest at the bonfire as well. So if you, like, rest at the bonfire to heal yourself or get your Estus flasks back, the enemies will all respawn, which can really, really suck. I think our light attack might do more than the sweeping attack. It's certainly... So how much does that do? 58, basically, per attack. That does 70. Ooh. Yeah, okay. So the thing about twin weapons is that the attack that I'm using, the double weapon attack thing, is good because it stun locks people, but it requires a lot of stamina to like really stun lock somebody with it. So you can kind of see that like this does a lot more damage, and it requires about the same amount of stamina, truth be told. But the nice part's that if you get enough stamina, your twin attacks always stun lock people, and then they basically get off in the same window that my R1 attack, my light attack, gets off. My L1 attack gets off about the same amount of like damage, give or take. I do think that our R1 is better than our L1 right now, but you know, that will... I don't think that'll change, but it'll make me feel better. It does look cooler. I'm gonna go with that for right now. But you know, it just feels dirty to try to use like one sword at a time, basically. Okay, so up here, I'm gonna show you guys a little trick. So you guys kind of see over by Archer Man there's like that darkened skeleton. He's on the left side of the screen over by that statue of the praying lady. So that guy turns into a horrible monster face when you get up here. So the idea you want to do is ignore the Archer Man and come over here and kill that guy before he turns into a horrible monster face. If you guys saw the way Gundex Udyr looked, where he turned into like the big rat monster, that guy turns into a big rat monster. Not fun. Not fun at all. So what you can do is that for enemies like that, you can get up there and kill them before they turn into the rat monster, and they will not turn into the rat monster instead of turning into one, which is good. It saves you a lot of trouble. But we got the longbow. I need the longbow because later there's some stuff that we... Like, if I want to pull enemies, it's a lot easier to pull them with a bow and arrow or some sort of ranged weapon than to try to do it, like, with your body, using, like, the aggro range of the enemies. So, we'll try to get to the next bonfire, and then we'll probably call it quits for this episode, because we've been running for about 30 minutes. If you guys are enjoying this, let me know. It was requested by Dr. Steve Rule, and I'm pretty excited. I remember the icon. I'm having a little trouble remembering the name because it sounded like Scooby, and I know it wasn't Scooby, so I'm like trying to not say Scooby because I know that wasn't the name of the person that messaged me about playing Dark Souls. It's like Scrubby or something like that. Scrabby. I don't remember. Sorry about the S. I remember that much. These guys, so the Lantern Men, you kind of saw me run up here and kill this dude. Lantern Man, if he yells, activates all of the bad guys in the area, most of whom will stay dormant and just lay there, unless you hit them. So, like, if I hadn't hit Lantern Man, all those two guys, that dude right there, this guy right here, they would have all activated, and it would have been a huge pain in my ass. It also would have pulled down those two guys up there, one of whom throws little black fireballs at you, which can be quite annoying, actually. And then this guy would have gotten up, and he would have been a problem too, for different reasons, but, you know, it's kind of a pain in the ass. We had enough Titanite to actually reinforce our swords, so I'll get to the next bonfire. We'll go back to No, I'll probably take care of that between episodes. I'm going to try to do a lot of, like, any maintenance or things like that where, like, it involves me going back to Firelink Shrine and doing stuff. I'll try to take care of that between episodes so that way you guys aren't watching a bunch of loading screens and watching me go back and forth to Firelink Shrine over and over again. Which, you know, isn't that big of a deal. It is part of the game, going back to Firelink Shrine over and over and over again. But I can understand that it doesn't make for very good content. If you would like me to leave it in, let me know. I'll leave it in for you guys, because I don't actually have a problem doing that. I forgot there's an item up here. So, up here by this dragon, over here, if I come around. Sir, I need you to move your ass. By move your ass, I mean die, so I can get by you. If you come over here by this dragon, who's very crunchy when you walk on him, and kind of see his wing here, there's a path down here. You can drop down. It's perfectly safe. Take a little bit of damage, but you can get this item, which is gold pine resin. You put that on your swords, or whatever weapon you happen to be using, mace, bow, dagger, whatever. It turns your weapon into a lightning weapon. Very, very useful for some of the douchier enemies that are coming up. It's very useful for them, because you'll notice that, like, some of the enemies, like that guy, he can block my attacks, but if you have gold pine resin on your weapon, he can't block your attacks because the lightning damage will go through his shield. He'll block most of the physical damage you deal to him. You saw I dealt like 1 damage to him. But, you know, that kind of stuff. So this dragon is a dick. You can get rid of him by shooting him with the bow, like with a ranged attack enough. But we're going to use him, so you can see that there's a bunch of these assholes down here. So what we're going to do is we're going to bait the dragon into breathing fire down this alleyway over here. Which hopefully he will do soon, because I would really like it if he did that soon. Dragon Man. There you go. Dragon Man will breathe fire down the alleyway, sparing us the need to kill all of those guys. It's literally just a quality of life thing. It has nothing to do with that being the way you should do that. You can fight all those guys if you felt like it. You don't have to activate the dragon if you don't feel like it. Dragon Man is just kind of a dick, and I like to use him to my advantage if he's going to continue to be a dick. So then you just run past Dragon Man. You get him to breathe fire up there, or you just wait for him to stop breathing fire temporarily, and you just run past him. Now up here, there's 3 bad guys up here, but the worst guy is this dude. He's a Lothric Knight. He's probably the first enemy in the game that will kill you who isn't a boss. But what you want to do is you want to try to... He's very slow, so what you want to try to do is get behind him and avoid... He's got a couple tricky attacks, like that stabbing move. His combo can do a lot of damage, and you want to not hit him while his shield's up. But something you can do is that if you find that he's, like, blocking a lot, what you can do is you can run up to him and you can kick him. I can't do that because I'm using the twin cell swords. Which when I kick, I do this attack thing. I go, what? Or I go, oh, come on. Do the thing. Wacha! And I do like a flip. But it doesn't matter, because I just backstabbed him to death and then, you know, beat him until he died. But you got to be really careful. You want to try to drag him down to that lower area over there when you fight him, because you risk accidentally aggroing these 2 guys while you're rumbling with him if you fight him up here. And if you back up into them, they can get added to the fight, and fighting that guy's already hard enough without having these 2 assholes getting part of it. So, there you go. Dragon Man, real annoying. Really, really annoying. We'll probably try to get rid of him at some point. I might try to do that off camera, because it takes a lot of arrows to get rid of Dragon Man. Like a lot of arrows. It's like something like 180 or something like that. Which can be really annoying. But there's another bonfire if you go this way. So we entered through the room. That's where the knight walked out of. Come right. Go up here. Right up here. And there's a bonfire. Easy peasy. The beginning area of this game is not hard. You'll feel very confident walking out of it. I promise you that after you beat Vort's sort of the end of when the game is, like, reasonable. After that, you end up with a lot of stuff, a lot of, you know, enemies that are very douchey, very unfair, and very, you know, kind of just hard to deal with. But I think that's going to do it for this episode. So thank you all so much for watching. If you like what you saw, let me know. If you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe to keep up to date on when I post more videos. If you're enjoying Dark Souls, leave a like. Let me know that you guys are enjoying it. I am planning on going through the entire game. This will be a pretty comprehensive guide for how to play Dark Souls, because I just know most of the stuff. I'm playing through it again right now for a 3rd time on the PlayStation. I'm playing again for the 4th time here on the channel. I do know a lot about Dark Souls. I don't know where a lot of the like a few of the items are, but I do know where a lot of like the more critical items are. Stuff that like is really useful, that really would help you out in a pinch. So we'll be going and we'll be eating lots of stuff, and anything that I miss that I retroactively remember once we beat the game, I'll go back and try to do those. Any optional bosses that I skip, I'll probably go back and do those as well. So the series will be here for a little while. Let me know what you guys think. So yeah, with that, thank you all for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye!